Together, they are the Bostonian versus the Book.
You covered 12. I covered.
Follow the show on Twitter at Boston versus the Book.
How do you like them apples?
Bringing you the best insight on sports betting news, Matt and Dave's daily picks, and an entertaining and unfiltered dive into the sports betting industry. Here's Dave Sharapan and Matt Perrault.
And here we go.
Hi, guys. What's up? Welcome into another episode of the Bostonian versus the Book. We work for ourselves. Nobody can fire us. My God, today was crazy. How many people are going to get laid off today? Holy mother. A lot to get into. A lot to talk about. Dave Sharapan, the Book. Matt Perrault, the Bostonian, live on YouTube and Twitter at Boston versus the Book. Follow both those sites. Sports Grid Late Night Replay. How are you? Happy Monday, Dave. What is up?
What is up? What is up is that the brigade is here. The brigade answered the call to duty. It's not a call to action. We don't want anybody getting in trouble. But we got a lot of comments over the weekend on the YouTube feed.
I heard you were answering all of them.
Every single one. I took the time to go through. One, thank you all for doing it. Again, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. Perrault, where's the Discord channel again?
BVBshow.com.
Every single day, we're going to mention that at least once or twice a day because the kids said we need to say it more. But everyone that took the time to comment got a personal response one way or the other. Most of it was very good. Feedback is welcome.
Good. Absolutely.
Yes, there's a lot
Positive,
of people
negative.
around that, may be facing some unfortunate situations work-wise. We're learning about this as we speak. We had a very interesting call this morning with another gentleman about some other things. A lot of things are happening. It's a Monday. We got a lot to talk about today.
Yeah, we really do. And for those of you who were on the Twitter Spaces yesterday, I apologize for the hard out. It was my app crashed. I was fooling around. I knew I shouldn't have been doing that. I was trying to retweet the link, and then the whole thing just went down. And I was like, man. So we had about like 45 people in there. We're having a good conversation, and then I blew the whole thing up. So that was on me. So if you were in there and going like, what the heck happened? My fault. Perrault's fault. Sorry on that. But that was fun. And we'll do more of that as we roll because, I mean, the response day was pretty good. People were loving the Sunday in-game playoff conversation.
Well, considering that we decided about 8 minutes before.
I didn't decide. You decided. You called me and said, hey, what are you doing? I said, I'm at home. Do you want to do a Twitter Spaces? I was like, sure.
I did. I mean, because there were so many things going on, and there's a lot of people in the space that like to throw stuff out there and do some different things. And we have a pretty loyal group of people that follow the show, listen to the show, like the show. And, the Twitter Spaces allows us to have them be a part of the show. It's like old school radio taking calls. We didn't get anybody up to the podium because a couple of people that we called on were apparently just waving. I see you, JC from KC87. You raised your hand just to say hi. We thought you wanted to talk. That's okay. But yes, we definitely should do that.
As we get into the playoffs going more and more and more, I think it's something we definitely should do because as we get into a routine, especially on Sunday evenings, like for us, it's 2:00, so it's in the afternoon, but for the East Coast, it's 5:30. And so people are winding down. They're getting ready for the week. It's a huge window. That's like the Masters ratings on Sunday. That's where you get all those huge numbers because people are normally in front of their TV sets doing something, relatively relaxing, heading towards the work week. So they're on their phones, whatever. It's quick and easy to jump on for our Twitter Spaces. So I would gather that we're going to do more of that as we head towards football season coming up. And then obviously that window for football there's 5 games going on basically at that window in football. So we'll do some more things on the at Boston versus the Book on Twitter to follow us if you want to be made aware of that. The one thing that Madeline, who by the way is homesick today, so she's upstairs.
Oh no,
it's okay. It's slumber parties are the worst idea ever.
Terrible.
Ever. She had her first one ever. Went to bed at midnight. They set their alarm for 5 a.m. 5 a.m. They got up at 5 a.m. They had 5 hours. She's 8 years old, 5 hours of sleep. I picked her up. She was miserable yesterday. And then she went straight downhill, got sick, has a cold. So, and they're doing all these.
This is the things that you're going to have to deal with now on the off weeks.
Yep.
Things are going to happen. And you're going to have to be the heavy on the weeks you're going to happen. There ain't going to be no slumber parties like that On Daddy's week.
Yeah, well, no, it was Dad's week. I okayed it. It was on me. This is on my head, so it's my fault. It was a 3-week out ask. I thought about it, and I was like, "You're never gonna make it." And she's like, "I want to try." I was like, "Okay."
Oh,
And I didn't think they were gonna get 5 hours of sleep though. So she woke up this morning, all congested, all nasty. So I was like, "All right, just stay there," because tomorrow they're doing these statewide testing, ASCAP something or they call, I don't know, here. So it's a big deal tomorrow. She has to be in school tomorrow. So we got to get her healthy for tomorrow. But she always says, "You got to hit the bell, the notification bell. So you always know when we go live. So when you're on YouTube, not just subscribing to YouTube, but hit the bell. And then it will tell you whenever we go live, you guys will be able to be alerted on your phones."
our man J Dow Betts puts it in the chat so eloquently. Don't be a bum. Hit the thumb. Hit the bell. Hit the thumb. Hit something
Hit
on the
something.
YouTube feed while you're watching. We
For us,
appreciate all of you.
yes. So we've got we got a lot of stuff to get into here. We're going to talk to Bernie Fratto from Fox Sports Radio, a little bit of the Lions and the gambling side of things in a little bit. But let's recap Saturday and then we'll recap Sunday.
Okay.
What do you make of Dylan Brooks going after LeBron, being down 25-7 and 35-9? Like, if you're his teammate today, what do you say before the game? Like, how do you feel before the game tonight as to, you got us killed, now what?
Well, there's nothing to be said. After that, there's literally nothing to be said other than, are you good? Like,
Keep your
right?
mouth
Like,
shut.
because now we're up against it. You poked the bear and the bear bit back. I mean, what did you expect was going to happen? I'm not saying, and again, a lot of people like to have 20/20 vision after the fact. I've been listening to it for
predicted
20
it.
years inside this own house. Like,
We
I
said it.
knew the Lakers were going to win. How did you not know? Well, that was one of the easier ones. I don't think tonight is like that easy. I don't
Disagree.
think it's
Yeah.
that easy.
Totally agree. Yeah, I think it's if you think tonight's a walk in the park or the same situation as to game 3, I think you're wrong. The motivation's different. The fear of the Grizzlies is different. I mean, their backs are firmly against the wall.
Right.
They are playing for their playoff lives. And we've seen the Lakers take games off. We've seen them exhale. And they don't keep that same level of intensity throughout an entire series or an entire week. So, yeah, I think
there was a little run within that game.
There was. Well, Jog scored 25 consecutive points, was it, in the fourth quarter?
He woke up too.
Yeah.
And basically was trying to will his team back into the game,
Right.
let alone give anyone that had a Grizzlies ticket a glimmer of hope. It didn't get there. But I think as a team, they have to be thinking, obviously, tonight is a must win. We have to win this game, but we got to be competitive. I mean, that non-competitive first quarter was like, there was no reason to turn it on. I kept it on just to check the score every once in a while, but that was a wrap 8 minutes into the game. It was done.
It was a rout.
Yeah.
So we talked about this a little bit yesterday on the Twitter Spaces. For those people who weren't on it, the Ryan Garcia, Tank Davis fight that did not go over. I bet the over 7.5 rounds. I threw a couple of flyer bets on Garcia to knock out Davis and win. All 3 lost. Tank Davis catching Ryan Garcia in the 7th round with a shot to the liver that shut his whole body down. And the reaction is interesting because the people in the boxing space that called out Garcia have really done a 180. Like, they have really backtracked and apologized. And like, I've seen a lot of people I follow in the boxing space on social media have to eat their words after what they said in the moment happened to Ryan Garcia, and then went back and watched the whole fight or watched a replay, whatever it might be, and said, okay, yeah, I understand what happened to Ryan Garcia. Were you surprised at the outcome?
No, not at all. It's amazing because we talked about this fight on Friday, and you had talked about talking to some boxing trainers, and you had some boxing training yourself, and talked about him throwing a punch and dropping his right hand when he did it, Garcia, I mean, and being susceptible to that short left lethal hook.
Over the top. Yep.
And bam, in a second round, he got it and ate it. And I was like, uh-oh, there's the total. But he got up.
Well,
Okay.
it was the entire fight changed. I mean, Garcia thought in
No
the
doubt.
first round he was all full of vinegar and all angry and coming at him and throwing all haymakers, and he won the
Yeah,
first round. And
he
then
did.
Tank waited, watched for what we all talked about Friday. Everyone's been talking about what Garcia does when he throws that lethal left. He drops the right hand and then over the top left, bam, on the nose, on the button, boom, set him down on his butt. And from that moment on, Garcia was afraid. It was hanging on. He lost every round after that. The judging was the fear factor because in Vegas, we've talked a lot about this when it comes to Triple G Canelo fights or just Canelo fights in general. The judging in Vegas can be susceptible to being not great.
I mean, listen, we've done this now for years, and I mean, you've been in the boxing realm. I love boxing from the time I mean, they hooked me when I went as a little kid to see Hagler Hearns on a closed circuit
Nice.
pay-per-view at the Civic Arena on 2 little movie screens when I was
Nice.
12 years old. A 10-8 round is a knockdown round.
Not
Did you
not by
see the
rule.
scoring?
I know, but not by rule.
It's understood.
It's
How is that a
understood.
10-9 round?
It's understood that it actually is not on the rule books that it's a 10-8 round, but it's a 10-8 round when one fighter dominates the other fighter, even though the fight does not end in that round. It was so lopsided that you basically deduct 1 point from the fighter that gets dominated. A knockdown almost always is a 10-8 round in MMA and in boxing. And the fact that not one of the judges gave it a 10-8 round was scary. That was like, wait a minute. What were you guys setting up for here? Because that's nuts. I don't care if he popped right back up. He got clipped and he went down.
And he did not throw another real punch the rest of that round. It
Yeah,
wasn't long, but it
he hanging
wasn't
on.
much that
Yeah.
he was literally like, "Okay, that's like I just know in the scoring purposes, that's an automatic, but then let's get to the punch that took him down, and he sat to try to breathe, and apparently, I don't know when the last time, you were hit. You have a very good story,
Mm.
which turned out to have ramifications later, but you got hit and didn't feel it and felt it for 3 weeks after. Anyone that's ever been hit in the solar plexus, the ribs, whatever, and had that sound come out of you that
Mhm.
and then
But
there's
the
a
liver
lot of
shot's
things.
different a liver shot is different than a rib shot because a rib shot, you make that noise, that,
Right.
like all that. It pushes the oxygen out of your lungs
Out.
out.
Go. Boom.
The liver shot shuts your body down. It
Ooh.
literally shuts you can't, it is, I never want to feel it ever again. It's only happened to me once. I was training, I was sparring my coach, and my coach got me against the ropes. And because he was an ex-pro, he knew what he was doing. He was going 50%. He did not hit me anywhere near as hard as Tank hit Ryan Garcia,
Right.
but he hit me in the liver, and I wanted to die. Like my entire insides locked up. I dropped to the ground and I literally thought I was going to die. I was like, oh my. And for 3 weeks, I couldn't train for 3 weeks. It was, I went to the doctor. The doctor believed I broke the floating rib, which is the rib right above the liver.
Mm.
But I got hit there and I got hit in the liver, and you get hit right there. And that's it. I mean, it's lights out. If you get hit in the right spot, at the right time, and Garcia got clipped,
Mm.
and he reacted. People have said it was fixed. You react the way he reacted. Something's wrong. Oh my gosh, what's going on? He took 2 steps backwards like he got stabbed. He was like, oh my gosh. And then everything shut down. And he went straight to the ground and he was like, nope, I can't do it. Now, could he have stood up and and fought? Yes, I do think he could have, but he would have gotten viciously knocked out if he had done that. And I think
Okay.
he realized he was beaten. And rather than take the pounding and get knocked out viciously by Tank, which probably would have happened because he couldn't defend himself because he couldn't move, that's why he basically said, I can't go. And I'm not saying he took
Why?
the easy way out. I'm just saying he knew he was defeated.
Why are we so I mean, and again, maybe it's because we're in a vacuum and we're in it all the time. I've been in books for 20 years listening to people tell me that the game is fixed because of the referee, the fight is fixed because of the judging. Why do people go to that right away? Like, why do
Because they
they
have
say, "Oh,
no
it's fixed"?
concept. They have no concept of what it means to get hit with a body shot. They
The
have no
guy's
idea.
trying to win the fight that changes life.
Yep.
Like,
But
he's
they don't
trying
see
to win
that.
the fight that changes life.
They think because boxing has had its history, and there has been a history of boxing fights being fixed, and there has been a history of judging in Vegas being crooked and or questionable, that people immediately run to that if there's not a guy face down on the canvas, knocked out, that something nefarious went on. But if you bet Tank, you were Tank by knockout, you were ecstatic, you were in love. I
Right.
mean, that was it.
Exactly. And I mean, and I mean, we'll get to this with Bernie about, the players and the stuff, gambling and all this other stuff. Like, they're not making enough to fix the fight
Right.
versus what they're getting paid. Like, think about all this for a second before you come with, "Oh, that was fixed." No, I don't think it was. I think he
No.
got hit with a perfect shot.
Shot. Yep.
It was a
Clipped him
perfect
perfectly.
shot, and he tried. He went down like, he stood there for a second, and then he realized, "Oh my god, something's not right.
Yeah. Well,
I'll take a
the thing
knee."
that people say is he stood up right after the 10 count. He stood up and walked off. And I asked somebody that question, and they went, "Well, there's a big difference between could he stand up or could he box?" And he made the calculated decision that he couldn't box anymore. So could he stand up? Yes, he could stand up, but he couldn't box. So people wanted him on the ground, writhing in pain. They wanted him screaming, "Oh!" And then they're like, "Okay, he really is hurt." Like, people deal with pain in different ways. He
Did
was
you see
hurt.
him did you see those 2 exchange of phone numbers afterward? Did you see that video?
Yeah, whatever. That's
What do you
typical
think they
now.
were doing? They're gonna text each other, give each other the socials, maybe get together later? What was that?
No, I mean, because the fight will never happen again. I think that's why. The fight will never happen again.
Oh,
It was a catch weight with a
snap your fingers. Snap your fingers. You're frozen.
See,
Come
this
back.
is
There
not
you're back.
me. Now we
Okay.
know this for a fact. That's not me.
Bam.
We know
Alright,
this for a
that's good.
fact. This is
Alright.
not my. It didn't
That
happen
didn't
Thursday or
happen.
Friday.
It did not
So
happen
never
Thursday or
happened. So
Friday.
we know it's not me.
We're not accusing anybody of anything.
No,
It's
I'm
just
just saying we
sometimes
know that
somebody attacks
yeah,
Farrah's
the
internet.
inner
This is
workings
just
of the internet of how this works.
right.
But I'm a little bit surprised at the way that this fight was put together because boxing needed fights like this. And hopefully people have been saying, give us more fights like this, which I'm surprised about because Dana White in the UFC figured out that main event fights don't have to have belts on the line for
Correct.
people to buy the fight. They just want to see
No.
the entertainment. And this changed with the UFC about 3 years ago. This changed. And they went, "Oh, so we can just make good fights and people will buy it?" Yeah. This fight had nothing on the line except pride. It was a catch weight, rehydration clause, and 2 guys that will never fight again unless Tank goes to 140, which I don't think that will happen because that's where Garcia is going to go and live at 140 now. So I think boxing will see more fights like this. I think we
I
could
liked
see
it.
more catch weight fights.
I liked it. I'm a fan of it. The line was competitive.
Yeah.
There was actually action on both sides. A lot of guys that I respected were on Tank. I
Mhm.
ended up betting Tank when they came out. I said I'm betting him, so that was good. The
Good
line was
intro.
like 220. I just said I think he's going to win. I think he's going to, hit him more than the other guy.
Yeah.
That was all it was based on. So that worked out okay. The under was 7.5. It was in the
Well,
7th round,
closed at 8.5.
but it went up and he caught him and end of
I mean,
story.
if I thought if that body shot doesn't happen, we cash because the way the fight was trending,
Oh,
Garcia was just gonna be looking not to run away, but he was not looking to engage heavily with a big
no,
firefight with
no.
Tank. And so I thought we were gonna get. I was like, man, this is trending perfectly. Just hang on for 1 or 2 more rounds, and then he made a catastrophic mistake with that exchange he had him pushed down and he broke away. And man, one of my boxing coaches did a really interesting breakdown of how Floyd always avoided that exact situation when someone put their head down and
Uh-huh.
went at him. Floyd was always very technically
Like his
sound.
paw, he would just paw him
He,
away,
he
like,
would hold him down
was
and then he would pivot away knowing that something could get thrown.
he was
And
so good at that.
Garcia went backwards straight, and
Yep,
that's what allowed Garcia or Tank to hit him in
yep.
the liver because he was wide open.
Ooh,
He had no defense
mm,
whatsoever, and then boom, caught him, dropped him, fight over. Amazing way to win a fight, by the way. Amazing, like the best boxers in the world to win a big prize fight like that.
right.
I've heard boxers say that I would rather knock a guy out with a body shot because I know I got him. Like knockouts are great, but like I know I got him. Like I got him with some
It's
serious
the
pain.
ultimate skill shot.
Yeah,
the
it
ultimate
really is.
skill shot.
It's
Yeah.
very impressive. All right,
Yep.
before we get to Sunday, we'll do that in a
Yep.
second. Let's get to Bernie Fratto from Fox
Let's get
Sports.
to him.
He's been kind enough to hang out and wait in the green room while we started the show to get a conversation going. I've actually met Bernie, I think, once. I know you do his radio show a lot.
Yes.
Bernie, Matt, and Dave, how are you? Welcome to BVB.
Hey, good to be with you guys. Couple quick things before we get to the NFL gambling policy and such. I love the Matt Damon Goodwill Hunting open reference as you're signing on to the show. I did my own, Matt, Boston's one of my favorite cities. I did my own Goodwill Hunting tour everywhere, Foley Field, the whole 9 yards.
Wow.
So I love that scene. Yeah, I love the city. It just there a couple years ago.
Bernie, you don't have to kiss his ass. Listen to me. You don't have to kiss his ass about Boston, please. Enough people watch the show because they like Boston. I don't need you to come on here and tell them you like Boston. Go ahead, sir. Sorry.
Well, just to prove I'm telling the truth, Matt, I was sad when the No Names restaurant shut down 3 years ago. That was actually my favorite seafood place.
Wow, look at that.
You got to be a local to know that one.
You got to know that. He's right.
Yeah. Best fish and chips I ever had. Real quickly, also, as someone who's trained in the ring, I have been since 2020. Dennis Dublin was my coach. Nice. You were so spot on about the liver punch. I feel like Ryan Garcia was gassed because he started the fight too fast.
Yeah.
And I'm glad I didn't bet it. I was going to bet the over 7.5 rounds. I had Al Bernstein on my show a couple weeks ago, name drop. He thought the fight would start slow.
Yes,
and build. Did.
Yep.
Yeah, and so I'm glad I didn't, but man, you are so right. I've taken a shot to that upper rib, that top. Oh, you're begging for death. Yeah, it's like a funny bone. Anyway,
it's the worst.
Good stuff, guys. I thought your analysis was outstanding.
3 weeks.
And one final thing. Didn't Oscar De La Hoya negotiate a rematch prior to the fight on behalf of Ryan Garcia?
Only for Tank.
Oh.
If Tank lost, there was going to be a rematch. So Garcia losing, there's no rematch clause for Garcia. That got revealed in a conversation with Ariel Helwani about 2 days before the fight, that there was a rematch clause. And Ariel said, well, who's it for? And Ryan said, it's not for me, it's for Tank. So if Tank loses, we rematch. If I lose, we don't.
Okay.
Well, I think you got stuck with a bad beat, my friend. I'm going to qualify it as a bad beat. It's unlucky, but I say this as a guy whose last bet on boxing was Mayweather McGregor, and I retired from that. Yeah.
So that was a good one. That was a good one to end on. That's a walk-off right there. We all made a lot of money.
That's a walk-off.
Yeah, that was a walk-off. So, Bert, we wanted to ask you, I mean, you and I have these discussions off the air that really basically are a show. When we get always, we have to start our conversations with what's the over-under, 38 minutes over or under, because it usually starts that way. But we talked about it briefly on Friday because it was all kind of breaking and going on about the players gambling, and they happen to be Lions. You used to do years ago Lions pregame, postgame. You're so wired into so many things that are going on, not just in Detroit, but in Michigan in general. I had to have you. I'm so glad you were able to join us, but can you give us your take on this whole thing going on with the players getting suspended and gambling and all this other stuff right now?
Yeah, in order to give this some context and texture, guys, you really have to start at 30,000 feet and descend downward. 40 to 50% of NFL players bet. They're human. They're action junkies. They come to Vegas all the time. It's a form of entertainment. And the NFL knows this. So they've actually structured an NFL gambling policy to accommodate that. And I'll lay that out in a minute. I want to demystify this because I've listened to the groupthink echo chamber talk about this nationally. And I think there's been a lot of misstatements made. So start at 30,000 feet. This phenomenon is not new. 60 years ago to the month, Alex Karras, all-pro offensive tackle for the Lions, suspended for a full year, along with Paul Hornung, for not only gambling, but for consorting with mob members, etc. Alex actually owned a sports bar in Detroit where they were taking illegal bets right there. As part of his reinstatement, he was required to shut down the bar. Fast forward to Art Schlichter in the 80s. You know what happened there?
Yeah.
So the news breaks Friday that 4 Lions players and 1 Commanders player are suspended, and the rumors run wildfire. Well, it turns out these incidents took place, at least as far as the Lions, 3 or 4 months ago. And the NFL notified the Lions about a month ago that they were being investigated, and the Lions, of course, fully cooperated. Then it was announced Friday what happened, and Stanley Berryhill and Jamison Williams, a kid out of Alabama, who missed 11 games last year with the ACL, got 6 games, and they're contrite and they've issued statements and such. So what happened here? Well, the NFL has a gambling policy that's frankly pretty simple. Let's demystify it. If you're an NFL player, do not bet on NFL games. No way, no how.
Uh-oh. Bernie, snap your fingers. Get rid of your notification. Come back.
If you like to throw a few shekels.
Okay, you're back. Go ahead.
Do not bet on NFL games. If you like to throw a few shekels on, tennis or bowling or college football, as long as you're not on a team plane, at the team hotel, at the team facilities, at the stadium, at the headquarters, at the practice field, anything related to or in the proximity or in the course of work, you're okay. In the confines of your own home, if you're sitting home on a Saturday and you want to bet college basketball, you're allowed to do that. Now, non-NFL personnel, you're not allowed to bet on anything. I don't care if you are
non-NFL personnel, Burn, meaning anyone else
players.
Not a player.
Yes.
Thank you. I that's a
Okay.
key word I left out.
Okay.
I haven't been drinking yet,
Okay.
but yes, very nicely done. Non-players, whether you're a secretary, a CFO, chief cook and bottle washer, head of public relations, you can't bet on anything.
Gotcha.
And that happens, and those people get fired summarily. So, unfortunately, ignorance of the law is not a defense. Or maybe you forgot that the speed limit was 45 miles an hour and you were going 65 that day, even though you knew it. Well, Roger Goodell and the NFL is hyper vigilant when it comes to their optics. They're deadly, protective of the shield, as it were. So while this is pretty innocuous, they're going to make examples out of these guys. Here's why I don't think we have a problem at all. There's been symposiums, there's workshops. Guys know this. They dropped their guard. They got complacent. You got 1,700 players in the NFL. This involved 5 players. Move on. Nothing to see here, in my humble opinion.
Well, here's the question, though. I mean, just from a smart standpoint, how do you use the team Wi-Fi when you're told you can bet this anywhere else except on team facilities or team land? That's how they got caught, right?
1,000,000%, Matt. And the NFL had that metadata, and they had begun an investigation. It was almost draconian. They had begun an investigation well before the Lions even knew about it. But you just nailed the essence of it.
Like, the problem that I've got with the whole thing is that if you are an NFL employee of any stature, you can't really even go inside of a book. You can't go anywhere, and they don't have a union like the players do. Do you think it's right that if I work for an NFL team, I can't bet on the college basketball tournament? I can't bet on March Madness?
Well, there's the world it is and the world it ought to be. And the folks that are living in the world that ought to be are going to dance the line, and they run the risk of jeopardizing their career. Right. As society, I've always believed we're all in the same swamp, guys. I made my first bet back in 1986, and I started off hot, and then I had a 2-month losing streak and got my comeuppance. When the ball went through Bill Buckner's legs, I was on the other side of it, and it went. Believe me, it went from there. So, you learn, you understand what to do. I'm of the belief, guys, that 98% of all bettors get their high making the bet, not winning the bet. They don't really understand what to do.
What? Bernie, you got to turn those notifications off. Oh, no.
Is that why?
He's back. Hold on. He's back. Hold on. You're back. You're back. You're good.
Off. I don't know what's going on.
Maybe, all right. No, you're fine. Just keep going. You're doing good.
So were you able to hear that, or did that cut out?
Yes. We got most of it.
Okay. Yeah. So,
the last thing you mentioned was Bill Buckner.
Players are just like anybody else. Most of the people who bet, if you profile the average bettor, upwardly mobile, educated, have a few shekels in the bank, they're action junkies. When they place a bet, it enhances the viewing participation of the game. It feeds their competitive spirit. They're going to tell you about the day, like Uncle Rico, when they almost won the championship back in '82 because they could throw a football over a mountain. There's a lot of Al Bundys going on out there. Dave, you sat behind the counter. You could tell far more stories about this than I can. Players are no different. To your question, Matt, will we ever reach a day where Roger Goodell and the NFL drop, sort of open the window and let some fresh air come out of the smoke? Because there's so much regulation. NFL security is so tight. These people can only really harm themselves. What Roger Goodell is more worried about than anything, and this is what most of the investigation entailed, is information. Information getting in the wrong hands, information, people paying for information, people being compromised. And when you're dealing with human beings, if they, find themselves in a compromised situation, there's an old saying, everybody's got a price, right? You heard the story about the guy who walks into the bar, walks up to the most beautiful girl he's ever seen and says, "Would you go to bed with me for $1 million?" She says, "For $1 million? Yeah, I have to." He goes, "Would you go to bed with me for $10? He goes, $10. What do you think I am, a whore?" He goes, "We've already established that. We're negotiating price now." So, they're hyper vigilant. And I think to your point, Matt, by the letter of the law, it's going to not change. By the spirit of the law, perhaps it needs to be revisited. But we're back in 2004 while I was in Detroit with CBS Radio. Las Vegas was refused an opportunity to purchase ad space in the Super Bowl, the Las Vegas Convention and Visitors Bureau. We tried to get people on when the NFL, they wouldn't even come on my show. Wouldn't talk about it. Tony Romo had, a fantasy football event here canceled in 2015. Now there's a fantasy football section on the NFL website.
Bernie,
I think we're years
there's
away from
books in stadiums now. They're advertising all over fields. There's official betting partners of pretty much every NFL team. Are the lines too blurred? Is it hypocritical? Or what is the future of this? Because forget about, there's players betting and they got caught because they were on the team Wi-Fi. Do people really think that this hasn't been going on? And what do we do now?
Hypocritical is the operative word. The question is, can that ever change? And it's been hypocritical, honestly, for probably 100 years. We know it, right? Finally, when PASPA was overturned in 2018, it started to bring to light and to the forefront for all the people who play bingo and
He's hanging. He's frozen, but he's coming back. I can feel it. He's got connection problems. Somebody took his Wi-Fi. Oh, no. He was just getting to the good part. Well, let's see if we can get him back. Yeah, we'll see if we can get him back.
Okay. All right. Well, that was good. So, there's a couple of things that I want to ask him if he does come back, because I don't, and maybe you know this because I don't. The investigation into the Lions personnel, was that before or after the investigation of the players? Because it seems to me like the logical way would be the NFL started to investigate or investigated all their teams and found out that Lions personnel were using the Wi-Fi to go onto betting sites to make bets. And while they were there, they just said, "Hey, you know what? You might want to check the players too. Let's just see what the players are up to." And then they went, "Oh, we have the players too. Now we got to do a whole," that's why it took months, because they had to make sure that they figured out what they were betting on and where they were betting and how much they were betting. Thus, that's where the penalties came down from 6 months or a year, or really it's an indefinite suspension for the players who bet on NFL games. They're at least a year, maybe more. But we know for a fact that it's a 6-month deal for the players that bet on non-NFL games.
Right.
Which came first, do you think?
Without knowing, I don't even want to speculate, but I'm going to say, even what about this question? What if they were investigating people that worked for the team, maybe putting in bets for other people? Like, hey, man,
You think that's going on? Wouldn't it be the other way around?
What are you talking about? If the player knows he can't bet, but he says to the guy, "Hey, man, can you put this in for me?"
Oh,
while he's getting his ankles taped.
Who works for the team? I see what you're saying. Well, that's a big rabbit hole. Wow.
Well, that might be what the investigation was even started by, because there were people that apparently worked for the team that had to get fired because they're told you can't place bets.
Right.
Well, if someone wants to get a bet placed, let's put the glasses on for this. These are the listening glasses, but I'll put them on for this. If somebody wants to make a bet, they're going to find a way to make a bet.
Yes.
No matter what.
Isn't that life, though? With anything, if someone wants to get high, they're going to get high. They want to.
That's reality of life. Exactly. So now that might have sparked the investigation. I have no idea which came first. And I wanted to, and if we if we don't get Bernie back, guys, follow him at
Yeah.
Bernie Fratto. He does a Fox Sports radio show on Friday nights and Saturday nights. It starts at, I believe, 11 o'clock Pacific, 2 in the morning, Eastern. Does a great job with it. Um, and, oh, well, it looks like hopefully he's coming back to working on it in the green room, efforting. But I wanted to ask Bernie, is it important to know what they were betting on? I mean, forget about which came first, Perrault, but, like, knowing what they were betting on, I think is, because I asked jokingly on Friday, but I wasn't really joking. Did they win or did they lose? Bernie's back. Bernie, you're not driving, are you?
Not intentionally. No, I don't know what's going on, guys. I
Okay,
got
you're
full
good.
bars and
It's all
I
good.
turned off my notification, but I heard your question. We
Okay,
don't
good.
know what they bet on, and we don't know if they won or they lost. We do know last year Calvin Ridley bet on his own team, the Atlanta Falcons, and it was part of a 5-team parlay league. So he should have just been suspended for that, right? You bet a 5-team parlay
For good money.
for a year for being Mickey the Dunce.
Right.
But the bottom line is we don't know. They're not releasing any of that information. What we do know is that it had nothing to do with the National Football League game, and the investigation, which was very thorough, did not breach any information, statute of what this rule stands for. Purely innocuous. We don't know what they bet on. It didn't matter. The operative issue here is that it was done at team headquarters, Allen Park, very nice facility off the 94 freeway. I've been to many times. No, can't do it, and they knew better.
I think that Perrault, you can go next. I just want to make it known that for the listeners, that might have been the first use of the word innocuous on the BVB in show history. So thank you, Bernie, for that. Go ahead, Matt.
So what do you make of the Lions going forward? They are obviously wide receiver starved now, and they're going to miss obviously their first round pick, not just from the ACL injury, but also now be suspended for 6 games. Coming in the draft, do you expect the Lions to be active in this market to go get wide receivers? They lost 2 indefinitely, and they cut them right after the story came out.
My moles are telling me Brad Holmes going to draft defense. They want more pass rushers and they want more defensive backs. And they traded for 3 ones. They just got rid of Jeffrey Okudah, who never just worked out in Detroit, and he was constantly hurt. So what the Lions have done amazingly, and I covered the Lions from 98 to 08 in official capacity, pre and post. Those teams always built from the periphery. It was terrible, right? Matt Millen, God love him, he was a moron. The bottom line is this team is actually football. So you guys know football is blocking and tackling. Protect the quarterback and kill the other quarterback. Simple as that.
Yes.
And the Lions have one of the best offensive lines in the NFL right now, as to how they grade it out. And in addition to that, their defensive line with Aiden Hutchinson is filled in quite nicely. So they're going to try to bookend him, and I think you're going to see them go defense this year. That's kind of the short answer to your question.
Bird, we've been anti-draft talk for the most part for the entire year, and we've got the draft coming up on Thursday. And you had mentioned to me you have one bet involving the quarterbacks of the draft. Perrault has been making a pretty good case that the quarterbacks could be the most important piece of this draft. And I wanted to get your opinion, and hopefully you are still there. Yes, you are still there. Bernie, how are the quarterbacks going to get drafted in this draft? Go.
Well, the bet I have, and it's only one bet, is under 4.5 quarterbacks in the first round. And it boils down to Hendon Hooker not being drafted in the first round because of his ACL. That's what this is about. And the bottom line is, if you think he is, I think you get a plus 170. I got it at minus 115 Friday. I think it's going to grow. Now, I am also hearing, Bryce Young will go number 1. That S2 test put her over the hump. And I believe in the kid. I saw him in high school, saw him in college. He's the real deal. And I've studied this for 20 years, guys. I don't really see any correlation between size of quarterback and getting hurt. You play the position with your eyes. You receive the ball. You take mental snapshots of what's happening in front of you, and you execute. He's off the charts. And he's magical. And he's good enough. He's accurate, all those things. Now, number 2, I'm of the belief Houston, with DeMeco Ryans, may draft Will Anderson. But I don't think they're going to draft Will Levis. One, they've never been able to replace J.J. Watt. And I got to tell you guys, other than Bryce Young, I'm gonna blow up the room here. I wouldn't draft any of these other guys in the first round. It always comes down to, do you take a project Or do you take a defensive impact player who can step on the field day one and win games for you? You go back to 1967, there have been 129 quarterbacks drafted in the first round. 9 have gone to the Hall of Fame, 6 went to the Super Bowl, and 1. So the chances of a quarterback failing is tremendous in the first round.
Very high.
Just my thoughts, just my opinion.
I don't think you're nuts at all. Bernie, thank you so much for hanging out. We really appreciate it. We kind of commandeered almost half your morning, so thank you.
Bernie, tell the people where they can find your show, please, and how to follow you on the Twitter at Bernie Fratto. There's your Twitter handle. But when's your show on?
Fox Sports Radio, 11 p.m. Pacific to 2 a.m. on Friday nights, 11 p.m. Pacific to 3 a.m. on Saturday nights. Fortunately, I'm syndicated, cleared on 600 stations, Sirius XM Channel 83, because there's no Pittsburgh Pirate games going on at 2 in the morning. So got a lot of lunar listeners out there. Dave, you've been on many times. We'll do it again. Matt, let's get you on some night.
Let's do it. Appreciate it. I love it. I'm a night owl.
Enjoy your day, guys.
Thanks, guys.
Pleasure to be with you.
It's Bernie Fratto from Fox Sports Radio joining us here on the Bostonian versus the Book. It's one of those wonky things sometimes with the phone connection. If the app is a little bit wonky, it can kick you out. Even if you do shut off on all, you do everything right, it can still be a little bit finicky. You can be
when we get this big sponsor deal, we're gonna have a big studio. We'll just have Bernie come in the studio. You know, he shined his head up all nice. He looks great. And different guests like that can do that. It'd be awesome. But we're not there yet. We'll be there.
So I'm looking forward to seeing how this draft goes, because you mentioned that I think quarterback could be the first 4 picks in the draft. I still think that could be possible.
It's not happening.
Okay. I mean, it's 1-2. I mean, it's Young and CJ Stroud, right? 1-2. First 2 picks.
I mean, you just heard Bernie say they're not taking Stroud second. I don't know. I don't think anybody knows.
Look, if
they trade the pick, what if they trade the pick?
But I think if you trade the pick, someone's coming up to get a quarterback.
Somebody's coming. If they trade the pick, then you got a shot at your bet with the quarterbacks being bang, bang, bang.
I just think it's going to be this obsession with Will Levis is really interesting. I mean, there's so many people who are talking about the quarterback talent pool that it's not that outstanding in terms of the ready now, but like Anthony Richardson, like where are these guys going to be in 4 to 5 years? And are you going to be the GM? Like every GM's biggest fear is that you passed on Patrick Mahomes, right? Look at all the quarterbacks, all the picks, and everyone goes back and says, yeah, you're the goddamn genius that passed on Patrick Mahomes, you fool. Like it's the same thing. Like every GM's worst nightmare is the 4 to 5 year revamp and re-look back on the draft and go, good job out of you, man. You're the one who passed out on a first ballot Hall of Famer. So they're all petrified with these quarterbacks.
It makes it hard to get the next job. Like,
hell yeah.
Now you're that guy. Like, why did you pass on him again? You know what? We're not going to hire you this time.
Or
thanks for coming in for the interview.
You're the guy who has a quarterback fall into your lap and that you get you looked at as a genius, but like you were just taking it as a flyer. Tom Brady. So you had no idea what was going on. Like, so like, I love the fact that the Patriots, I will take the accolades that Bill Belichick is this guy, this genius. He could have drafted Tom Brady 6 times before he drafted Tom Brady. He took him in the 6th round. It wasn't like the Patriots were really high on Tom. They weren't really high on Tom Brady either. They just were like, fuck it, take him. Like it was just like it was not like a situation where they were gung ho about Tom Brady and he falls into your lap in the 6th round and you finally are like, okay, we have a 6th round grade on the guy. Go ahead and take him. So that's the fear factor with any one of these GMs looking at the quarterback spot. Hooker's the same thing. What if Hooker comes in the NFL and he's Michael Vick and he's unbelievable? And you passed on him because of a medical that was dumb and he was going to heal from it. Everyone knew he was going to heal from it. So
listen,
I don't know.
Pass on guys and eventually you get over it. I mean, Pittsburgh Steelers passed on Dan Marino. He was right in the neighborhood. He could have lived at home. And they let all that talk and pre-draft talk and everything, and he fell to the Dolphins. Dan Marino turned out pretty okay, and he would have looked great in black and gold. And they took a defensive lineman named Gabe Rivera, who unfortunately had a unbelievably bad car accident and was paralyzed from the waist down and never played it down for the team. Like, you don't know how these things are going to turn out. But everybody that's here in the chat, put down who you think Houston's taking. Just put it down. Just put it in the chat right now because there's people talking. I see Zach the Hat came in and said he likes Will Anderson there.
Yeah, well, no, here's the thing. So Eric and I know you hate draft talk, but Eric Edholm's from my hometown. and he does mock drafts for the NFL Network for NFL.com. So if you want
Mm-hmm.
to put Eric on, we can get Eric on if you want to do a mock draft thing. But I know you hate it, so I haven't suggested it. But his latest mock that came out just an hour ago. Bryce Young 1, Will Anderson 2. The Texans go defense, but he has the Raiders moving up, trading with the Cardinals, and the Raiders selecting CJ Stroud.
With what pick? The third pick of the draft?
The third pick in the draft. The Raiders will come up from 7 to 3 to go get CJ Stroud. And then they have their quarterback of the future, which is what Josh McDaniels wants. Garoppolo's not a full-time, long-term fix. He's a Band-Aid.
Wow.
I mean, I like it. I mean, if you're gonna, I mean, it essentially says we're not trying to win next year.
What do you think about the Caleb talk? Like tanking for Caleb?
I hate it.
A lot of people are talking about that.
For the Raiders?
For a couple teams.
Not for the Raiders. For other teams, not for the Raiders. It doesn't make any sense for because
you just go with Jimmy G and go with what happens, no?
Because Jimmy G's not going to come in here to lay down. Jimmy G wants to go to the playoffs.
Of course. Well,
so you have too much talent. No, you have way too much talent on that roster. You've got a good offensive line.
I don't think they should do it, but there's teams that are doing it.
They should. Suck for luck, catastrophic for Caleb. I don't know what you're going to come up with. You come up with some term, but there are teams that are going to do that, and teams that probably should do that do not have the talent. You might as well burn it down. Teams at the top of this draft, for instance, the Texans, those types of teams. If I'm the Texans, I'm trying to lose every single game that I'm going to play next year, because you get Caleb Williams in Houston. You draft Will Anderson this year. You draft Caleb Williams next year. If I'm the Texans, if there's not a quarterback in this draft that I think is my guy, I burn it to the ground next year. I lose every game and go after Caleb Williams.
Wow.
That's the team that should be doing it, because they don't have any talent anyway.
I don't know about tanking for anybody ever. I just don't. I don't know. I mean, it was tanking for Tua, wasn't it? Is that what the Dolphins were?
And it was right, and they got him. Yep,
they got him. I mean, it worked, but I don't know. Don't you play sports to win?
No,
no, apparently not.
When you have tanked, if you're the Cavaliers, you tanked for LeBron. You figure out ways of getting guys who change your franchise, who change your future, who are generational talent. I mean, the Colts taking Will Levis as the third quarterback off the board at number 4 would be wild, because then I'd be close. This is what Ed Holmes says. I said top 4 picks being quarterback. This would be 3 of 4 picks being quarterback, according to Eric Edholm.
Okay.
I'd be close to getting what I thought could happen. But then you get into some other guys, edge rushers and cornerbacks and whatnot. But I can't wait to see what teams like the Eagles wind up doing, because, the Eagles could potentially make moves. They could go up. They could draft Bijan Robinson to, help their offense out. It's at that pick right there. I mean, they may take him with the 30th pick. They could take Bijan Robinson. I mean, that would be a phenomenal back.
You heard about this Derrick Henry to the Eagles rumors?
Trade?
You heard about this? Yeah.
On draft day or after draft day?
I don't know. I just got a text about it yesterday.
It's possible.
Listen, I'm not. Somebody asked me this morning. I got a text from someone else about the draft. I'm like, is that this week? I just responded back just to end the conversation, because I don't. It doesn't matter. Fine. I'd rather talk about the playoffs.
All right, let's talk about the playoffs. Sunday. Let's recap. We had Saturday done before Bernie. After Bernie, we'll do Sunday. So here's the trends in the NBA right now.
Yes.
Every game played in which the favorite has won in the NBA playoffs so far.
Yes.
Every game has covered except 2. Suns, Warriors are the only 2 teams. Warriors yesterday, Suns, I think it was Friday.
And the Suns covered the original number.
They did. They didn't cover the closing number.
They didn't cover the close. Yes.
Yes, but they closed. They didn't cover the. This is all closing number now.
Right. Okay.
As a bookmaker, what do you make of this?
Make the numbers higher.
Because they started to do this. The Celtics being favored by 7. It was 6 and closed at 7.5. They won by 8. We're getting to that number where now we're starting to slide. I mean, this is, I think, as a bookmaker, as a gambler, I think you have to look at the books right now as we head into the second round in particular, that some of these numbers may be a point or two too high. And the dogs might be very valuable soon.
Listen, you give us the same game multiple times in one of two venues, the numbers are gonna get tighter. The numbers are
The
gonna get harder.
outcome is not getting tighter.
No, but
That's
at
the
least you
problem.
could get to a number that it might fall close to, because making a team 3.5 or 4 and then winning by double digits isn't working from the book standpoint. So you gotta make them higher. Did you see the lines for the games tomorrow? Hello.
Not tomorrow. What are they tomorrow?
Oh, okay. Let's play. Don't look. Don't look.
Okay.
You're not looking, are you? You don't have tabs open.
Nope.
Atlanta's at Boston. What's your number, sir?
8.
12. Thank you for
Wow.
playing. Minnesota's
12.
at Denver. What's your number?
10.
9.5. Good number. That's good.
Okay.
9.5. Pretty much just hit refresh 9. Okay. And finally, the Clippers go to Phoenix to close out their season and probably no Kawhi playing and everything else. What is that number, sir?
6.5.
12. 12.
Without knowing whether so that mean that number clearly states that Kawhi's not playing.
That number clearly states that Kawhi's not playing, PG's not playing, and I don't know if half the team's even going down to the desert. That thing is a wrap series over. 12. 12.
12.
Yeah, you want to play? Now you really want to lay? Good luck. Thanks for coming. Yeah. 12 for the Celtics and trending up. 9 is probably where the Minnesota-Denver game is going to finish, because Minnesota gave them all a glimmer of hope by winning that game last night.
No, it's
I
gonna be
think
a
they can
rout.
cover.
Yeah, it's gonna be a rout.
And Clippers they should bring the golf clubs to Arizona, because it's still a nice time to go golfing down in Phoenix. And
Right.
that one's a done deal. So there you go. That you want your extra point spreads. What did Kendall say? Point spreads are dumb?
Stupid.
Stupid. Point spreads are stupid.
They are. They're stupid. I mean,
they are tomorrow.
I mean, and this series is clean, because it's clear with the Phoenix Suns and the LA Clippers, because like when the Clippers won the game, they're 7.5 point dogs, won the game outright.
Mhm.
When they were catching 8 points and lost, they lost by 14.
Mhm.
When they did cover, but not that closing number like we talked about, that 5, the line closed at 7.5, and they lost by 5, but technically covered, but didn't cover every other number because of the Kawhi situation. And then there were 7.5 point dogs the last game, and they lost by 12. I mean, they're not just the numbers. It's 4, 5, 6 points. Like, it's easy clearance with these numbers right now. And we've been talking about this. I think the space is talking about this a lot, saying point spreads, if you like the favorite, don't worry about what the number is. At least not right now. Just go ahead and drop it, and you're good.
Things are going to get a lot harder in the second round.
Yes.
Enjoy it while you can. This is
agree.
that time of year for the book where you're just like, you know what? Don't you want to bet baseball? You should probably bet baseball right now. Like, hey, we have hockey. There's a lot of hockey stuff going on.
Right.
Have you tried the golf? Like,
no,
you're trying to kind of
get them away from it. Yeah.
do some
Slide
other
off.
stuff. Yeah. Yeah.
How did Steph Curry pull a Chris Webber yesterday? I mean,
Man, that happens.
it does in a playoff game to a Hall of
Famer. Had a timeout.
How does that happen?
He called timeout when they didn't have a timeout. How does it happen?
Oh boy, that's a fear factor for me. You don't see a mistake like that being made by Steph Curry very much. That's a rarity.
Don't you think? I mean, they got pushed to the brink yesterday. Sacramento had a shot to win the game, which would have put them up 3-1 with the rest of the games at home except one.
It should have hit that shot. I mean, Harrison Barnes should have hit that shot.
I mean,
I don't like the shot. I don't like a 3 when you don't need a 3. A 2 wins it. It's taking a 3 is just for, I don't know, you're being extra for no reason. But it was wide open. I mean, it was Dixie Chicks, wide open spaces, baby. He had no one around him. Clang.
Are we watching the Sacramento Kings growing up right before our eyes?
Well, of course, but they lost.
It's okay. That's okay. I mean, I would have liked to have won if I'm Sacramento, but we got to win game 5 now, because we can go and win 6. We don't need it to get to a game 7. We don't want it to go to a game 7. We got to take care of business at home, though. But
I think they will.
To me, that they can win a game in
On the
Golden
road?
State.
Fair.
I haven't seen one thing yet from Golden State that makes me think they're gonna go to Sacramento
And they
and
gotta win
win.
one. They gotta win one of the 2.
They
To
have to.
advance, they gotta win one of the 2, and I'm with you. I don't know if they're gonna be able to do that. It's 2-2. The home team has won all the games, but which road team has the better shot of winning on the road? Absolutely Sacramento, without a doubt.
And
But the Kings don't have to. The Kings can just go ahead and win all the home games and win it in 7 and advance.
you just don't wanna play a game 7, though. You
Against the
don't
Warriors? Hell no, you
don't
don't.
wanna play game 7. You
No,
don't wanna play
because Steph goes for a 50 spot and that's it. You're done. So yeah, I'm with you on that entirely.
Yeah.
The
One and a
Oilers go
half, by the way. That game is not until Wednesday. Thank you, NBA, for all
3
that
days
momentum
off.
you built up yesterday. Built around my whole day of watching that game along with the Bruins game, which
Right.
turned out to be okay in the beginning, but meaningless at the end because I mean, the end was great. Don't get me wrong. That was one of my favorite things about yesterday. We'll get to favorite things about today at the end of this show.
You're getting goalie fights tonight? Because
Oh,
sign
give me
me
some
up.
Allmark saying, Kachuk, that's it, man. I'm taking my mask off. You want a piece of me? I'll take it. And all the guys go, even the ref was like, Linus,
Stop.
like,
Yeah,
you're the
stop.
goalie.
Yeah,
Like,
stop.
Like, we're going to just send you to the locker room. Go get
They threw
Swayman
him out.
ready. Like,
They threw him out. Drop the
get out.
glove.
You know,
Had to
you're
throw
going to
him
go win
out.
the
Yeah.
cup. We can't have you getting hurt, hitting
Yeah, like,
Kachuk in the head and
oh
messing your
gosh.
hand up.
Could you
Stop.
imagine that? No, no, no.
Ugh.
Oilers go down 3-0 after 1 period and win the game. I mean, if you're the Kings, whoa.
You got all the momentum in the world. Captain Kopitar scores the 3rd goal. The roof practically blows off the Staples Center. I'm at home watching a game, having fun tweeting, and the kids are downstairs, and Kendall's been on fire. She's been picking the games before every game. She
Wow.
told me yesterday that the Stars were going to win. She
Nice.
told me that the Oilers were going to win. And I went down after the period. I went downstairs. I said, what do you think? And she said, well, there's still 2 more periods, right? I said, yeah, but I don't know.
Call.
She's like, it's not over yet. I said, okay. So at 3-3, you get the chirp. You get the hey, I told you they were going to come back. And I'm like, you're right.
Then
Okay.
4-3.
4-3 Kings. Huh.
You're like, oh, okay.
Let's lock this down. Don't take another penalty. You can't take a penalty against the Oilers because they play tic-tac-toe better than anybody. Boom, boom, boom. Give it the puck to Draisaitl,
It's
finish.
unbelievable.
It's amazing. Like, you
I
want to
mean,
talk about a power play with a purpose. That is it.
I would have had a monster day yesterday if McDavid had gotten 4 shots. And I thought that was an absolute lock because I
What did he end
parlayed
with?
that
3?
2.
He only had 2 shots on goal?
3 assists. They
Yeah,
took away every and I get why. I mean, like, he had 7 shots in the last game. So on the Twitter Spaces, we were talking about this because I was parlaying because Bobrovsky going in net was an automatic fire on the over. I was like, this is a damn gift. Putting Bobrovsky in net, I was like, thank you, Florida. This is great. Bet the over. This is an automatic bet it over. So I got that right, obviously. And then what I thought was the easiest play of the day, which was McDavid to have more than 3.5 shots because he had gone way over it the 3 previous games. I can't even be angry at it because he was so good passing the puck to Draisaitl. It was just, I got everything he was doing. He's like, okay, if I can't be a shooter, I'll be a playmaker and I can get 3 assists and set my team up to win a game. And only 2 shots. I get why, because they literally sent 2 people at him every time he had the puck. So
there's great players that score goals, and then there's great players that make other players better. And same thing in basketball. There's great players that score points, but super great players, next generational players, make everyone better. McDavid did that last night. He was tremendous. Draisaitl, tremendous. Evander Kane, throw him on that line. Oh, by the way, he scores the goal. And Edmonton's not only back in the series, they're back favored. Like,
yeah. Do you think they put Kane? Do you put Kane? Because early in the game, McDavid got clipped, got hit really hard. Was slow to get up. When I saw Patrick Kane on the Draisaitl and McDavid line, I went, "Oh, okay." So you're going to take a run at McDavid. Kane's on the ice.
Yeah.
he's coming for your head.
Yeah.
Never saw a game-tying goal coming from Patrick Kane. But that's another pass from McDavid.
Patrick Kane's the guy on the Rangers before the haters come at you.
Sorry. Thank you. Evander Kane. And one's a scorer, one's a fighter. But Evander Kane to have that shot and one's a gambler.
Evander Kane is a skilled hockey player.
He is, but he's more known for his physicality.
You need that on a line with guys that can fly, because the only way you can't learn how to skate faster in a week. So the only thing you can do is physically slow them down, hit them, chip them.
He was, McDavid the Kings made a concerted effort to try to be very physical. With McDavid after the 7-shot game in game 3. And that drop off pack to Kane, that snap goal was impressive. And then, the overtime goal, I felt like it was just, one of those, like, what the hell? Let's just shoot the puck and see what happens. And it went in. I was like, wow, that's the game-winning goal. That was a soft goal.
Well, it was a good shot. Hyman was open. It was
wide open. Yeah, there was nobody there, but it still was
a
shot.
Pass. If you rewatch it, I tweeted it. There was a lot of people tweeting the goals last night. It was so much fun. But the pass to spring him was magical. I love the pass as much as the goal. That was always one of I would rather have made a prettier pass that would lead to a layup in basketball or a tap-in goal. Those are awesome. It's a hell of a series. I don't think the Kings are out of it by any means, but man, all the momentum's back on the Oilers side. That was
it's gonna be
now. Do you start Campbell, who finished the game, or do you start Skinner? Because Skinner was your guy, gave up 3 goals in the first period. It's textbook. Get us to the locker room. They talk about it in the locker room. Here comes Campbell. He comes out. He keeps them in the game until they tie it. He gives up a goal that was but now he wins the game. And now you have a goalie controversy in Edmonton, do you not? Or do you just go back to Skinner and say, Jack, thanks, be ready again?
Oh, it's so hard. I think the play would be to play Skinner, because I think without looking at it, I'm pretty sure Skinner had a much better goals against average at home than Campbell did. So that would factor in who plays better at home.
It's like having a little kid that falls off a bike. What do? You get him back on the bike, and as you're learning how to ride a bike, Skinner, you're fine. You get back in it. Like, you're the starter. You're our guy. We need you back. Because if you leave him out and then you go back to him after, I don't know. Some people have the school of thought that they leave the hot hand in. Campbell came in, won the game, let him ride until he loses. But I think for me, and maybe it's old school thinking or whatever, I put Skinner back in and say, go win us a series, man.
I'm with you. If you're Florida, Bruins up 3-1. They played Alex Lyon for the first 3 games.
Yeah. How'd that work out?
Down 2-1. So they said, okay, we have a 2-time Vezina Trophy winner in Sergei Bobrovsky. Let's go ahead and put Bob in net, which I went, oh my gosh, they're desperate.
How'd that work out?
Not good.
Yeah.
Not good. Bruins run away with it in a rout. I would not play Patrice Bergeron in game 5. Would you?
I'd ask Patrice first and foremost, do you need to play? Do you want to play? How do you think your health is? Because it might get a little ugly, might get a little chippy, might get a little nasty like it did at the end of game 4. And I don't need
that's all game 5's going to be. That's all game 5's going to be. Florida's beaten. They know it. They're dead.
Is it an extra long flight from Miami to Boston? Like, they took an extra day off. They don't play until Wednesday.
Yep. And it's great because Patrice gets extra rest. Bruins are going to win this series and then let Tampa and Toronto go to 7. Get Bergeron, get all the rest. I do not play him. I don't play Krejci. I don't play Bergeron. I don't play anybody who has anything nicked up in game 5. I let the Bruins go and win it because they'll win it without him. They don't need him.
Yeah. Jay Park came in the chat just now and said, to be fair, not many of those goals were Bob's fault. That may be the case. Boston was better yesterday. Boston's better, period. Boston's better every single time they take the ice. There's no question about it. I'm with you. If they don't need to play, I don't want them to play.
This team has a former MVP on the 3rd line who scored yesterday. I keep on going back to the
nice
talent
goal by Taylor Hall.
sick. I mean, they just have guys that they can roll out there that other teams would have them on their, a top 6 starter. And it's an opportunity for the Bruins, I think, to get some other guys some run, to get some line experiments going, and then bring back Krejci and Bergeron next week when you're going to have a war in your hands. No matter who comes out of that other side, Tampa or Toronto, is going to be an absolute war.
So our Linus Crimmage just came in the chat. He's the BVB Linus. So thank you, sir. But he said every NHL series this week has an extra day rest, whether it's between 4 and 5 or 5 and 6. So that makes sense because this is when, the series are getting physical and nasty. Did you see what happened? Not only just in the Florida-Boston game, but you just talked about Tampa-Toronto. Hello. How in the hell somebody's head's getting taken off in that game tonight?
Well, we'll get to that game in a second. Let's talk tonight's NBA games, only 2 of them, and we'll get to some hockey games. The Bucks are laying 7. They lost game 3. Milwaukee's got Giannis coming back.
Yeah.
Do they rout tonight? Do they kill the Heat?
Listen, I was on this morning, both with Ben Stevens in the morning after, and then with Keith and Moose. And I got the line screen up, and I'm like, oh, Giannis is playing. They're like, what are you talking about? Did it come out? Is it official? I'm like, no, the line's moving. It was 4.5.
Yep.
I said, it's 5.5. Now it's 6. Now I just clicked refresh. You know what the line is right now?
8.
It's 8 or 7.5. Giannis is playing and Milwaukee's winning. What else do you want to talk about?
Right. No, it's true. It's just a matter of how many points are they going to win by. I'll be very curious because, much like Boston and the Atlanta Hawks, there's a big talent mismatch. It's just when you have Giannis on the court, it's a big mismatch.
They asked me a good question this morning, and the boys had the graphics and all this other stuff. The Boston and the Milwaukee flip between favorite to win it all.
Yep. Keep going back and forth. Yep.
Okay. And they asked why, and I kind of just gave them a brief thing. People bet it, simple. But can Milwaukee win the championship without Giannis?
No.
Absolutely not. I don't think there's even a question.
No, not even a debate. Not even, no. I've never been a Chris Middleton guy. I'm not in love. He's won a championship, so he's shown me wrong that he can be a Robin. He can't be Batman.
They ain't winning a championship without Giannis. It's not even a debate.
No. I totally. Boston takes apart in 6 games, maybe 5, if they were playing the Bucks without Giannis.
Right.
Not even close. There's
not even happening.
Yeah, Boston's got a big matchup problem with Giannis against the non-Giannis Bucks. It's not hard to beat them at all.
Right.
Lakers minus 4.5 against Memphis. All that talk, all that. I'm surprised that Brooks didn't get suspended for this game.
No,
I am. They suspended.
Why?
Because they suspended. Draymond got a game for a shot to the groin.
Past transgressions.
Go ahead. And then Murray is being investigated for hitting the referee after the game yesterday.
Which he clearly did. That was not an accident.
Nope.
And if he was saying that's an accident, that's a hard way to walk and go, oh, I didn't see him.
While I'm yelling at him, while I'm walking at him. Yeah, he knew what he was doing. So he may get suspended as well. I think the NBA is going to get a little worried about taking players off the court during the playoffs. So that's why Brooks wasn't suspended for this game. But Lakers win and cover, right?
LeBron's quote, like the interview where he said, yeah, he hit me in the crown jewels.
Right. No. Okay.
He actually said that. Literally hit me in the crown jewels. But
he's the king.
Yeah. I was like, did he just go there? He called him the crown jewels?
Because he's the king. So,
these guys all know what they're doing. You got to give him credit when credit's due. LeBron said he hit me in the crown jewels. I chuckled out loud. That was pretty good.
Lakers win and cover, don't they?
Isn't this the game that Memphis covers?
They better. Covers or wins?
Well, I think they're live to win, but I think like the line's 4.5 right now. It's 11:42 Pacific, 2:42 Eastern, 1:42 Central, and 12:42 Mountain Time. Live. If you guys are listening to the show or watching the show live, again, thank you. If you're hearing this later, this is the game it's the closest game of the series. I don't think this is a blowout. I don't think. I mean, if you take the Lakers, I'd rather take them on a money line tonight.
Okay.
I think they could win late, last second. This game may come down.
It's the season for Memphis.
We saw the game go to overtime yesterday in Denver, Minnesota. Like I think this is a very close game. The total is steaming up right now. They're betting this over like they already know the final. It's up to 222 and a half, 223 in places offshore. It's steaming up right now. If you like the total, you got to bet it over if you still have any 222s left because it's already flying up.
All right. Rangers try to go up 3-1 tonight.
Hockey? We switched to hockey now?
Only 2 games in the NBA today.
I love it.
There's 4 games in the NHL, only 2 games. This is a hockey night. This isn't a basketball night.
Less basketball, more hockey.
Rangers are minus 150 against the Devils. Total is 5.5 here in this one. Devils win game 3, 2-1 in overtime. Repeat of game 3?
What a game. That came down to overtime again.
Yep.
Dougie Hamilton. I love when guys use the name that everybody calls him. He's been Dougie probably for his whole life.
Yeah.
And he's still Dougie. I put an I-E or Y at the end of everybody's name. I just always did because that's what guys older than me did. So everybody's,
East
Annie,
Coast
Dougie.
thing, yeah.
It's is it an East Coast thing?
Yeah.
Is it?
Yes. Patty, Maddie, Stevie, Timmy, Johnny.
Yeah.
It's an East Coast thing.
I guess so.
It's an Italian thing. It's an ethnic East Coast thing.
100% everybody did it in our family. Like that's true. Now that you say that. I don't know. Like, I don't think it's an automatic. I'm actually leaning Rangers tonight.
Yes, I am too.
If I had to bet this sidewise
I was stunned that the Devils won game 3. So yes, I think it's a bounce back spot. I think a lot of these series are going to be over relatively fast in the NHL in the first round.
Really?
Yep. 4-1 finals. I think we're going to have a lot of gentlemen sweeps in the NHL.
Oh, man. I think this is one of those games where this is, as far as repeat game 3, I think the total, like this is
under
tight. Like just one of those things. If the Rangers get a lead, it could open up. If the Devils get a lead, lockdown, baby. It is tight. It is 1-1, maximum 2-2 going into the third late.
Look, if they win tonight, if Devils win and even up the series, and the road team wins all 4 games to start this series, my goodness, how wild is that going to be? It's like which home team protects home ice will win the thing. Will win the division. Will win the series. This is a must-watch game for me. I cannot wait to watch this game. This is going to be fascinating.
I wish it wasn't at the same time as the other game. Because we got 2 must-watch games early. We got some good games late, too, but...
It starts before Tampa, Toronto, at least, though.
Yeah, I know. Exclusively watch first period.
Right.
And then kind of flip-flop back and forth. But I think the beginning of the Toronto-Tampa game will be must-watch television.
Well, let's get to that. Tampa down 2-1 at home. Toronto coming in. It's basically a pick in terms of the number. So, who wins?
It's crazy. I mean, when you look at this thing, I'm looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 different books.
Huh?
It's 5 and 5 right now.
Who's
on the minus side? The little extra.
Yeah.
Whether it's minus 111, minus 110.
This is one of the few times where I use the word value with this pick.
Oh.
I got plus money for a home dog. I had to take it.
Tampa.
Had to take it. You give me plus money on a team like Tampa at home against a team like Toronto who's known to fold with their season on the line. It's too good of a play not to take the plus money on Tampa.
See, man, Samson Osman is so good. Like he's given Toronto opportunities to win games every game.
Vasilevsky could very well turn the clock back for tonight, knowing the team needs him.
Turn the clock back. Forget about it. He's been that guy too. Yeah. Like he still is that guy. Yet these games are going over because they can't stay out of the penalty box. These teams are physically this series is nasty, and the health of Tampa is the major concern. Now, these guys are gonna find a way to play, but Braden Point not playing is huge for Toronto, let alone a couple of the other guys, or for Tampa, I mean.
Right, him outright. It's big.
Um, I can't wait to watch it. I don't have a strong opinion either way, but my, backed into a corner play would be Tampa. And so
Yeah.
if this is embedded or book it,
Mhm.
which we do at the end of the show every
Mhm.
day too, I
It
would
is.
say bet it.
It is. Vegas, Winnipeg. Here we go. Knights looking to go up 3-1. Total is 5.5. Vegas wins game 3. Can they win game 4? Again, a pick, basically.
I thought game 3 was a wrap. When it was 4-1, I was like, "Yeah, I'm not really watching
It
it that
was.
much." And then it was
It was.
4-2.
I mean, at the
It
end
was
it was. I mean, they won, but it wasn't comfortable the way that you would want a 4-1 game to end.
Yeah. There's no way that they can allow those goals to come back and tie it and then overtime and all this. That was
Do you find it odd the books keep on putting 5.5 up?
no,
Every game's
no,
gone
because I
over.
know the guy's doing it.
But every game's going, it's 3-0 to the over.
I know. So what do you want to use? 6 and take all the bets under? No, we're good.
Yeah. Well, 6 could get a push out of it. You would have pushed the first game.
Yeah.
5-1, 5-2, 5-4. You've had one team score 5 goals in every game, and you put the 5.5 total up. This is a thank you, sir. Can I have another?
Just keep betting it over.
Bet the over. Just bet the over. Just keep on betting over 5.5. I mean, they keep. I'm with them. The numbers for Winnipeg at home keeps on saying these games should go under. Winnipeg was was the third best team to the under this year in the NHL. I made a ton of money betting on Winnipeg unders at home with Hellebuck in net. It doesn't compute, but they keep on going over.
So what do you do?
Bet the over.
Do you buck the trend and go, you know what? I'm gonna go with those numbers. I'm gonna go with everything that
I would
says.
look at the way the game's being played and go to 6 and say, okay, I'll push.
We don't have to
4.
do that as the book. You have to pick. I'll make it 5.5 and give you something to think about.
Or go to 6.5 then, like all the other.
Oh, hell no, we ain't doing that.
Like the East Coast book, go 6.5. Why? It's gone over 6 in 2 of the 3 games.
Yeah, we're not doing that.
7 and 9, you've had goals being scored.
I know.
Just saying, you've cleared it, and it's 5.5 over. You want to give me 5.5 in this series? Every time you give me 5.5 over, betting over.
It's over minus 15, minus 20.
It was 110.
Minus,
What was it? No,
it was 110 last night. You got wow.
Hold on, I think I got 120. Hold on.
Okay, that's probably. I mean, that's the prevailing number right now.
Yeah, 120. Yes, over.
Okay.
Yeah. No. I got minus 110. No.
Good work.
Yeah. So there's that. And Avalanche minus 150 tonight against Seattle. This is going to be a walk, right? Colorado's winning this game. Seattle was a much better road team than home team.
Boy, that place was electric. Electric. The first playoff game ever in franchise history. Those people will remember that.
And what did the Avalanche do?
And then that first goal, and they're winning, and they're like, "Oh my goodness, we could actually win!" And then, boom, or like you say, boom,
Yep,
boom, and out the room,
bye-bye.
and it's all over. Bye-bye. Yes,
McKinnon and the boom.
Dear man, that McKinnon got jets in his skates.
Over.
Well, this the book said, Uncle 6. Enough of this 5.5. Caca. No more. Move the number. Let them bet under all they want. The game's going over.
The Seattle plays wide open. It's perfect for goals. It's perfect for the counter.
Especially, it doesn't matter whether they get up or they're down.
Right.
They're still trying to score 4 every game.
Yep.
That's their only path. With their goaltending situation the way it is, that's their only path to victory. They're not winning a 2-1 game.
Agreed.
So
the Grand Salami, once again, 23.5, but the books are juicing into the over now.
Yes.
Only 2 days so far since we started tracking this back last Monday when the playoffs began. Only 2 times has this gone under.
Stubborn. Huh? Odds makers. It just won't move the number. Move the damn number, boys. Just make it 24.5. What's the worst that can happen? Somebody will bet you under.
Yep.
So what? You just had this guy here tell you it's gone over every day except 2.
Yep.
I mean, how many days has the playoffs been? 12?
Somewhere. Yeah, I believe that's right.
I think we've
No,
been, I think
no, it's 9.
today's the 24th. I think it started on the 15th or the 16th.
It's the ninth day of the playoffs.
Okay, so yeah, so we're 6-2
Yeah.
to the over.
Yeah.
You tell me. I don't know. Is
Goals,
it coming
goals.
back? Why would we leave the number the same? There's 4
problem
games,
is-
put up 23.5.
Yeah, and the problem is that every day this has gone over, we've had one game would have 8 goals or more. We've had basically a third of this number get put in one game, which is going 5-4, 6-4. We're just seeing like these big numbers, and then you're dead. Like if you get one game like that, the salami over is hitting. Offense has been the name of the game here. Forget.
Is there a game like that tonight?
Yes, this one, Colorado.
Well, this one gets an extra goal or 2. We
Easy. Yeah, I mean, I think Seattle scores 3, and I think 5 for Colorado.
Well, that was the final score of game 3, was it, huh?
That was 6-4, was it not?
Thought it was 5-3.
It went over, regardless. Yeah, I hit it.
Somebody
over.
in the chat put what the final score was game 3, just so we see it.
But yes, it's going to happen.
Okay.
So,
yeah, I mean, this is over. This is the overnight, right? We've been flip-flopping.
It doesn't matter. Either night is over. It doesn't really matter.
True.
It's
this is
over.
correct.
So.
Yes. Okay.
All right, baseball, your time to crow a little bit here. Your Pirates have won 7 games in a row.
Bam!
They're in first place in the Central. JC from KC on the Twitter Spaces asked you this question. I'm going to ask you it here on BVB Live. To bet the Pirates to make the playoffs, 4-1, 5-1, shop it, find the book. Good bet.
I don't want to get ahead of myself. I'm very excited with what's going on right now.
16 wins, projected 66 wins.
Yeah, we need over 66.5. That will be a fun season win to
You might get that in July. And then you have to wait until October to cash it.
That's okay. That's just sitting there earning. That's fine. To make the playoffs. Listen, we went through it a little bit briefly on the spaces. We could do it here. Dodgers, Padres.
Yeah.
Pirates play the Dodgers this week, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
Tatis back.
Interesting series in Pittsburgh. Then they play the Nationals 3 games. Then they play the Rays 3 games in Tampa.
Yuck.
9 games. What do the Pirates do in those 9 games? 3 against the Dodgers.
4-5.
Or 5-4. Most likely are the 2 legitimate answers to that question. So
4-5.
I mean, yes, I know it's April and it's a long season for the Buccos. Yes, Jay Dow, I know that. I tweeted it today at SportsBK Consig. Okay. But it's nighttime in Pittsburgh behind me on every show that I go on most of the time. And the Pirates still hit me here. This is exciting. I'm riding this shit out.
You should. It's phenomenal. I mean, it's April. It's early, but playoff, yes or no? Good bet or no?
Dodgers, Padres.
Yeah.
NL West. One.
There's 3 wild card teams, so this good.
Okay, that's one.
So 1 out of the
NL
West,
East. Braves.
1 out of the NL East. Yep.
Mets. Okay, right now.
Yep.
That leaves the NL Central winner and
1 other team.
Diamondbacks in NL West, maybe.
That's going to be your competition, probably. It's going to be your
Phillies.
Your competition will be the Phillies, Diamondbacks, and Pirates, most likely. Now the Cardinals are going to have something to say too.
The Brewers.
And
Brewers
I think they'll win this. I think the Brewers will win the division.
Whoa. You know, there's trailing the Pirates in the standings right now.
Yeah,
right?
but they won't at the end. They do now, but it's April 24th. So
I mean, to win a division is Auto came in and said they're 13-1.
They're not winning the division.
Why? They only got to beat 4 teams to do that.
No, I think the Cubs aren't for real. St. Louis will play much better.
The Cubs aren't for real.
Milwaukee wins the division.
And
then the question is going to be,
Chicago think they are for real. What are you talking about?
They can. That's fine. You know, it's whatever. It's they're 12-9. I think they're a 500 baseball team. And then I think the Brewers win the division, and then the Pirates will come. I mean, they've won 7 in a row, 8 of 10. They're 9-4 on the road. That's not going to continue.
Why not?
Because you're the Pirates. You're not going to go. You're not going to
Don't
go
you be
win 8.
besmirching the Pirates. There's
You're not
people
going to
from
play
Pittsburgh that watch
700
the
ball
show
on the
that like
road.
the show.
You're not
Just
going to
trying
play 700 ball on the road.
700?
9-4. You're not going to do that.
Hell of a start.
It's a hell of a start, but you're not going to do that.
They're getting the pitching. Like,
Fine,
the
but you're not
thing
doing that
is,
on the
they're
road.
winning the games with the pitching.
Yeah.
In April, we can win the games with the pitching all
Yeah.
season long.
Dick Mountain is not winning games for you in August, okay? He's not.
Yeah.
He's not. Rich
Dick
Hill is not
Mountain.
winning games in August for you. Not happening.
Listen, we may go get someone to come in and
Okay,
win us games
that's
in
fine.
August and September.
That's fine.
If
I'm
this
okay.
keeps up, we'll be
Bill-
buyers at the deadline, not
Which is-
sellers.
I would agree. And that's why it will be super fun in Pittsburgh this summer, because they will be buyers. And they could add somebody, they could add a rental, they could add a bat, they could do something to help the team where in years or decades past, they've been the quadruple A farm system for all the contenders.
It's not even nice. I mean,
But
it's
it's
not,
the
you
truth.
didn't need to say it today.
It's the
okay?
truth.
We got the best record in the National League.
They do, but it's the truth. That's what they have been, but now they won't be. So that's great. It'll be. I love when new teams are in there. I think it's great.
It's great.
Let's go. Imagine the Padres and the Pirates playing a wild card series.
No, I
It'll be
really
fun.
can't because I 100% will be there.
Right. It'll be
100%.
fun.
Yeah, fun. Huh.
We love it. The Rays are 19-3.
It's unbelievable.
They have a plus 88 run differential.
Insane.
Is there any value on betting them to win the World Series right now? Or do you wait?
What's the number now?
It's not great. I mean, value-wise, it's not outstanding.
I haven't looked. Is it bad? Like,
No, it's just you can shop.
is
Obviously,
it 20-1?
no, way less.
It's
Oh,
April, right?
Yeah, it's
Still
8-1.
April.
8-1.
8-1.
Yep. Braves are
Man, oh,
550, 7-1 Astros, 750 Dodgers, 8-1 Rays.
It's just disrespect.
It's too low to bet it right now.
I mean, the Pirates have the best record in the National League. They're 150-1 to win the World Series. The Rays have the best record in the American League. They're 8-1 to win the World Series.
Uh-huh.
You tell me where the value lies.
With the
That's
Pirates.
crazy. They are now are they the odds-on choice in the American League? No, the Astros, are
Astros.
7.
Still there.
They're 8. The Yankees are 9.
Mm-hmm.
There's value at Toronto, 15, no?
Oh, yeah, I guess so.
Minnesota's the 5th choice. The Minnesota Twins are 22-1 to win the World Series. What the hell's going on with these future prices?
They're 12-10. They're in first place.
What the?
I would agree. So no, I would not bet this yet, but
I mean, listen, I did this last year with the Exactas. There's value. This ain't going to go much lower. So, I mean, you can buy it and tie it up for 6 months. What's it going to
right.
The Rays are 19-3 and they're 8-1.
Wait
If
for the
they win
losing
in-
streak. Yeah, I would wait for the long losing streak. Wait for them to lose 6 games in a row. It's coming.
It might go back. Yeah, it might go back to double digits.
Yeah, it's coming.
I much rather know, like, I mean, and again, there's people to take these future bets, and I think if you're going to take future bets, it's got to be with at least double digits, right? Like, you got to buy teams when they're 10-1, 9-1 at the least, and take a shot, make an investment, let it sit, fester, watch, enjoy, and get something out of it. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think. I think wait for the losing streak and then you can bet the Rays.
Yeah.
The Padres are a 500 baseball team and they're getting Tatis back, or they got Tatis back. He went deep over the weekend. What's your look? Can they win the division?
Yeah, they surely can.
I think they can. I think they're live to win the division. I actually wouldn't mind a bet on them to win the division now at 12-12. They're going to get hot. There's going to be a part May, June at some point. The Padres are going to start to rip off games and rip off 8, 9, 10 win streak is coming for this team.
Them and the Dodgers right now at FanDuel. Dodgers are -125. Padres are +125.
Mm-hmm.
The Diamondbacks are 15-1 to win the division. Now, the problem with the Diamondbacks, despite their good start, is they have to beat them both to win the division. That's probably not going to happen. But can the Padres beat the Dodgers and the Diamondbacks? Yes, they can. If they start really hitting, there's not too many holes in that lineup. They're going to work teams. They're going to win a lot of series, 2-1 or 3-4.
Right.
Because they're going to just wear teams out. The bullpen's going to be worn out. They're going to put up like the Sunday number where they'll bet their team total over because they're going to leave a guy out there for extra innings and hits that he normally wouldn't because they're going to look at their bullpen and they're going to be like waving a white flag. Like, no, not today. You got to take one for the team.
Not good. I do think that they're going to be live to win the division, though.
Yeah.
All right. Chris Sale goes for Boston today against the Orioles. We have to bet the over in this game, right?
Who, by the way, sneakily have won a couple series now and are over 500.
Yep.
The Red Sox are over 500 today.
In last place.
They're over 500.
In last place.
They're on pace to win more games than they're going to lose. You know that.
Which is what I said they were going to. I thought they'd win 81 games. I thought 76 and a half was too low. I thought 76 and a half was too low.
Yeah. Well, we're back. No.
But I mean, beating up on the Twins and beating up on, teams that aren't really any good.
Oh, wait. I just said the Twins are the fifth. They're 20-1 to win the World Series. What are you talking about?
Yeah, that's absolutely laughable.
They're playing the Orioles today.
The Red Sox are, yes.
They bet Sale every game, Perrault. They're moving it right now. They're betting it right now, guys.
Over.
We didn't even
bet the
say.
over. This is they scored 12 against the Brewers yesterday. The Red Sox bats are kicking, and Chris Sale can't get you out.
Listen, I don't like them lefty curveballs. He throw me that curveball and he'd come in on my hands, and I might poop my pants. I never liked that lefty curveball on my hands. I couldn't hit it. I didn't like it.
Bad.
They're betting them right now. They're betting the Red Sox right now. They are betting the over. The line's moving as we speak.
Okay.
Red Sox and over parlay. There you go.
Yeah, bet the over. Over 8's a better bet than Red Sox winning. Bet the over. Orioles
I like
hit
what the Orioles
Sale.
are doing, man. Give me the Orioles today.
They hit Sale, and Sale can't get anybody out. So yeah.
Yeah, I want the Orioles today.
You can have the Orioles. I'll take the over.
All right.
The Tampa-Houston game is probably the game of the day in baseball.
Houston, game of the day.
Not a very good slate for Major League Baseball today, but Tampa-Houston's a good one.
This is a good game.
Minus 160, though?
Not anymore, sir.
What's now?
Minus 150.
All right, well.
152, 150, 155. Everybody's trying to find the bottom right now for Tampa.
God, like Houston, no?
Do you want her, Kitty?
I'll take Houston, yeah. At a plus price like that, yeah.
Bradley looked okay.
Okay. What, they go for like 2 innings? It's the problem with Tampa. I don't care who starts for Tampa. They don't leave him in there.
Wow, we just got a guy named in the chat named Matthew Smith who has he's adopted the Orioles bird as his logo. The Orioles have allowed 3 runs in the last 50-something innings. Nervous about that, Perrault, for the total?
No, Chris Sale's on the mound. They could get 6.
I'm not worried about the over for the total. Yes.
Yeah.
You like Houston? You said you like the dog?
If you're worried about that, just bet a first 5 total over.
There you go.
It's gonna be 4.5.
The Orioles keep playing these close games too, walk-off, low-scoring games, because the pitching staff has been really good. Back to Tampa, Houston. Under?
Ooh. Yeah.
8.5 under is minus 115. I got to do the baseball work a little bit more, but I like under, and I think I would shade Tampa. Listen, I'm going to be watching hockey tonight. I'll check the scores later, but the Pirates are off. We're getting ready for the Dodgers series. Not that I'm not watching baseball at all. I'll be watching the scores and checking box scores and highlights after, but I'm watching hockey tonight, man. It's a hockey night.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Finally, Diamondbacks are 12-11 and now favored against the Royals today. These are the games. The Diamondbacks, if they're going to make the playoffs, these are must-win games.
Yeah.
They have got to beat up on the bad teams in the league. They cannot.
Is there a team worse in baseball than the Kansas City Royals?
On paper or
look at their record?
Yeah, I know. But
It's the
on
worst record
paper,
in baseball, right?
it is. But on paper, is there somebody worse than they are? I don't think so.
Record-wise, you are who your record says you are. Bill Parcells
I
said
mean,
that, and I like
the
to quote that.
Oakland is 4-18. Oakland's got the worst record. KC's 5-17.
Oh, 4-18, 5-17. All
Yeah.
right. So the second worst record in baseball. The Royals are a layup, have been for most teams.
Yeah.
Total in this game down in Arizona, probably good seats available. We should ask Sonic if he's going. 10 is the total. Over -120. Diamondbacks team total over.
Don't mind
Diamondbacks
it.
-140.
Yes,
Feels light, no?
it does. That's what I was asking.
Keller
You got to
maybe
win these
keeping this
games.
number down
You've
for the
got to
Royals, but
like these are must win games for the D-backs.
yeah, this is a
Gotta win 'em.
D-backs play. Yeah.
Got them. We touched on this on Friday a little bit, and I just want to bring it back up again real
Mhm.
quick. Well, before we do that, let's say goodbye to the grid.
Say goodbye to the grid.
We'll do it on the other side. We'll do it
Bye,
with
grid.
bonus time. Sports Grid, thank you so much. We appreciate it. We're back tomorrow, same place, same time. If you guys live on YouTube and on Twitter, it's time for BVB bonus time. Little bonus time action, better to book it and stories that don't make the Sports Grid replay for the show. On Friday, we touched on this, and I just wanted to put this tweet up because you were really supportive, and it stunned me that you were so supportive of what Tennessee did by going to tax the handle versus taxing the revenue.
Mhm.
Our friend Todd Furman says this is one of the single dumbest policies introduced anywhere in any regulated state.
Mm.
And I thought you would be of that opinion, and you weren't. You think this is how everyone should do it. So
Well, I think they're both dumb, but I think this is the less dumb of the first of the options.
do you
Like,
agree with Furman that he said straight bets basically ceased to exist and operators will only be incentivized to take high hold parlays like the state run lottery?
they already are. That's fact, yes, but making straight bet juices -114 to -117, you're telling everybody we don't want straight bets. That is true. That's bad. That's not good for business. That's bad for
He thinks
business.
this new policy is going to incentivize it even more to not take straight bets.
They're not taking straight bets now. This is the part of the problem.
Okay.
At least if you tax them on the revenue, I mean, on the handle, a lower percentage, you're going to get more handle. So ideally, you're going to get more tax revenue because less books means less handle. Requiring them to hold 10% means they have to. I
Well,
mean,
that was stupid. We knew that, but getting
right.
rid of the 10% minimum hold and replacing it with a 1.85% tax on everything, handle, win or
It's the
lose.
better option of the two, in my opinion, because
I would agree, but is it a better option than just taxing? Don't and get rid of the hold percentage, but just taxing revenue.
well, yes, but now if we're the government, we're not going to have any revenue because the prices suck and people are going to go back to betting with their local or their offshore. Anyway, they're doing that now. So we have to find a way to incentivize for the book. This is probably the best deal for the book and the state. It's not a good deal for the bettor at all because they're getting you every which way they can with the prices. This is the industry right now. Furman and I trade a minimum of 2 or 3 texts a week of pictures of what's going on in the space. And he's been never been more discouraged about it than he is right now. We were talking about something else yesterday. Him and I were trading texts. And he's like, I thought this would be better. And I sent him back the text. I told everybody it wouldn't be, and nobody listened anyway. Like Passbook getting overturned, I don't know who it was good for. It was good for these people that are coming over with these fancy ass models and this thing that they can sell. The lobbyists are getting rich, telling fairy tales. Projection numbers guys are getting rich. Consulting services are getting rich. I don't know what the hell they're doing.
I mean, if you ask me that question, who does it benefit? I think it just takes a practice that was illegal for a really long time and takes something that adults want to do and it gives an adult a chance to do an adult thing and gives the adults, at least if there is a problem, somebody to go to. You have a voice.
Yeah.
If you get screwed over, you can go and talk about it. Because for the longest time, you couldn't do that. You couldn't talk to anybody. If you did, you were admitting you were breaking the law, and the IRS would come and ruin your life and everything else. So that's why I wanted it legal. Everything else, all the fallout, it's the same thing with, like we talked about before. I wanted cannabis legalized for the same reason.
Right.
Everybody was doing it. Everybody was having to get, there was no standard. When I walked over to Jimmy or Johnny, there was no standard. If I'm buying from Jimmy or buying from Johnny, I don't know what I'm getting exactly. I don't know where it was grown. I don't know who died in the process of getting the thing over the border. Or was it, made in some guy's basement in Colorado or some dude in, Humboldt County, California who grew it. So now I have a chance to know it's been properly produced.
Mm-hmm.
It's been properly cared for, and there's, standards.
Okay.
Now, if I choose, there are definite things that happen negatively from it.
Mm-hmm.
Consumption's way up on the strip. I can't stand it. Credit card companies it won't process the bills. So now it's all cash and people are getting robbed. And there's a whole cottage industry right now of knocking over cannabis dispensaries around the country who can't take cash. So all these robberies are quietly happening and no one's talking about it, but it's happening all over the country. So now they're hiring literally militias to protect the money for these cannabis companies that are all over the country. So there's a negative. There's a negative in sports betting too. I mean, there's all schemes and stock, buyback and all this nonsense going on with manipulation going on in the sports. Ping pong betting going on in Colorado, right? Money laundering is happening in America. The know your customer baloney is all being exposed for being stupid. Right? The CYK stuff. Everyone's like, wait, what is that?
KYC. Know your customer. KYC.
Nobody is following that stuff.
This is great.
The KYC stuff. Yes. No one's following it. So it's not great.
No.
But I'd rather have it this way than the old way. This, even with all the warts and all the nastiness, I still like this better. Because I'd rather be arguing about whether or not we should have taxed on the hold percentage versus tax on revenue versus tax on handle. That debate is a lot more fun for me than having a conversation about whether or not a offshore book should be blocked from operating in a state like New Jersey did.
Right.
So that's just how. Tyler just sent me a bunch of text messages.
Yeah. Tennessee did $400 million in handle in March. The book's currently paying 20% of revenue. Tennessee held 11.5% in March. It's an all-time high. That's $43.7 million or $8.6 million in tax, and proposed bond of 1.8%. The state would get $7.2 million. That's great. So it's right there. You see it's a little bit less because they would pay taxes on the winnings, and that's in March. The easiest month to win is March. You saw what happened this March.
Right.
Okay. Stevie Wonder, who I absolutely love, would have made money booking basketball in March. Okay.
Right.
And I love all of Stevie's songs, and people are telling me he's not even blind. I don't even want to know. Okay. But yes, the rest of the months, he made a good point in that they could get taxed on handle and still lose. Damn right they could. That would make odds makers and people that might know how to book the games even more valuable. They've bastardized that process. So it's a very interesting discussion. I think some states have to look at the Nevada model. They tax you on volume here, 0.25%. Now, granted, the roads are nice here. The schools stink. The rest of the public things that maybe should be getting the money aren't getting it, but they still have survived that tax forever when they changed to that. We want to take bets here. We're not trying to worry about writing off tax credit or promotional credits too. That's a whole nother thing. That's for the higher pay grade.
All right, time for Better to Book It.
Let's do it.
All hockey, 3 bets.
Look at you. Hockey night on the BBB.
Nothing going on. Baseball's it's a crap schedule for baseball. I'll bet a couple of player props later in the day for NBA, but I don't want to touch either side or total.
Oh,
But Tampa Bay money line plus 102 is just too good to pass up.
I like Tampa tonight. Bet it.
Yeah. I mean, it's an important to me. I think this series is going 7. And Tampa's got to win it tonight to go 7.
If Tampa wins it tonight, it is going 7.
Yeah.
And I don't know how 5 and 6 go, because Tampa can go there and win the road game, and then Toronto can come back and win the road game.
100%. Yep. Agreed.
But
I just think I'm going to bet on pedigree. I'm going to bet on Tampa, backs against the wall. You know, they go down 3-1. Most likely they're not going to, their year ends in Toronto. And I'm not so sure they're looking for the golf course just yet.
It's going to be physical, man. It's going to be nasty, nasty game. And Toronto's been answering the bell physically. I like what they're doing. Listen, the winner of this series gets your guys.
Beat the hell out of each other. 7 games. Kill each other.
That's why you want 7 games. That's why you get an extra day's rest, and then you get the
extra day. The Bruins are going to play Wednesday and not play again until the weekend.
Not even the weekend. They'll probably play next week.
Beautiful.
Right?
Sit and relax.
Game 7 for this will be not over the weekend.
Get Krejci and Bergeron healthy. Get Allmark some rest, because he's clearly fighting something. I don't know what's wrong with him, but he's clearly hurt.
Fight Kachuk yesterday. Forget about that.
Yeah, but he's having. I mean, when he gave up that second goal, you could see it. He had a hard time getting up. He's got a hip or a groin. He's got something wrong with his body right now.
He's in the tub today.
Yeah, he needs a lot of help. Get as much rest as possible, and I'm good.
Okay.
Over 5.5 VGK in Winnipeg. I like Vegas to win the game tonight, but I'm going to say over instead.
I'll play the role of the book here, and I'll book this one. I'll say this is the game we finally get you. This will be the game that finally goes under. 3-2 Winnipeg. 3-2 Winnipeg tonight.
I don't know. Look at the way the last game got played. These teams aren't really interested in playing defense.
No, Winnipeg is, but they got to stay out of the penalty box, because now what happened? Eichel looked okay. Like, this guy's going to be okay.
Oh, yeah. Stone looked great.
This team may be waking up, man. This team may be coming together. This team may be ready for the match against the winner of the Edmonton LA series. Oh, the hockey's getting so good. If you haven't been watching,
Vegas LA is going to be unfreaking believable.
Vegas Edmonton.
I don't buy Edmonton. I think Edmonton's going to get bounced.
What?
I think that I do not like what I've seen out of the Oilers. I mean, they could win the series. Okay, it could be Vegas. I think the Kings are going to win that series.
Wow,
I do.
Even after last night's result?
Yeah, because last night was just a reminder that the Kings can't take anything off. They got to go and finish games.
Edmonton is minus 240 to win Game 5. Perrault.
They're at home.
Yes.
Okay, that makes sense. They're at home. I get that.
So they have 2 home games. They're going to be minus 240 in both.
I think the Kings will win Game 5. Kings can win Game 6 and close it out. I hope I'm wrong.
News. Stay tuned for the show. Will be late tomorrow because I have that speaking engagement in the morning.
Right.
So
I forgot.
we have to remind the people.
Yep.
We didn't remind them.
What time we going? 11:30?
No, 12:30. I won't.
12:30.
I'm done at speaking at 11:30. So I want to give myself the window. So plan for 12:30 ish.
Okay. We got to tell Sports Grid that too. By the way, that's super late.
Yeah.
To get the.
We'll see if anybody's paying attention.
We know our producer at Sports Grid is, because he'll sit there and wait for the video, the file to come.
We'll email Will tonight.
Yeah,
let him know. You ain't getting the file till later.
And finally, over 6 Colorado.
We'll bet this one.
I'll take it. I'll take a 2-in-1 night. Let's go.
Yeah, we'll bet this one. Listen, I take a 2-in-1 night every night. 2-in-1 night every night puts us in the islands in about 2 years, 3 years. So that's good. 66%. Take it.
Absolutely. Favorite thing about today is what?
Favorite thing about today is Monday. School, getting ready for school. Little kid Sig Kendall informs us. Well, I heard Mama say it. Are you wearing something VGK, Vegas Golden Knights Day? It's nice. It's Game 5, Game 4. I mean, big series. The city's all caught up in it.
Oh yeah.
And Kendall, off in the distance, says, "No, I'm not wearing anything Golden Knights today. And I just stop and listen. And she says to her mother says, why? What do you mean? Everybody's wearing, the Knights are playing tonight. It's, wear Knight stuff. And she said, listen, the last game, the Jets should have won. Okay. The game went to overtime and the Jets probably could have won. I like the Jets. I think the Jets are going to win tonight. And I was like, whoa, really?
So she can't wear a jersey for the Golden Knights if she thinks the Jets are going to win tonight?
So listen, she is my daughter. Okay.
Right.
And she has been paying attention. She asks me every game and gives me the winner before the game.
Okay.
Likes to chirp when she's right and doesn't like the losses when she loses.
Typical.
Just like every little kid there is.
Little kid, every person there is.
Well, yes. But she says, I hear now all this going on in the distance. I'm probably 15 feet away. So I say, Kendall, do you know? She says to me, I said, are you going to watch the game tonight? She said, yeah, I'll watch the game. And she goes to me, who's favored? And I go, well, it's a pick 'em game. It's basically like you have to, it's even, meaning you have to just pick the winner. And she goes, so the Knights aren't even favored? And I said, well, some places they are, but no, just essentially it's an even game.
Right.
And she goes, Jets are winning. I'm not wearing Knight stuff, and walks out of the room. Just like that. And I just smiled at my wife and I said, what have we done? I hope we're doing the right thing. But that is our lives right now. My life in a nutshell. And I went, there's my favorite thing about today. I tweeted about it this morning at Sports BK Consig. And I said, I'm saving that for the show.
You can tell that she can still wear a Knights jersey to the school and say the Jets are going to win. That's fine.
She's 9. She's firm in her beliefs. I'm not wearing the Knights stuff if I think the Jets are going to win. God bless.
For me, it is play week here. Willy Wonka full blow this weekend. Madeline will be in the school play that they've been getting up bright and early, and I'm so excited to stop having to get up and take her to school at 7 a.m. 3 days a week. Thursday of this week.
What time?
So we've got it's at night, I believe. I gotta check on the schedule. I just know the dress rehearsal is tomorrow.
No, okay.
Yeah, so Madeline is an Oompa Loompa and a squirrel in the
Oompa
play.
Loompa.
So she's it's her first experience because she's done a lot of plays. This is like her 5th play, but most often she's going to outside the school dynamic. This is her first time inside the school dynamic. So how old you are, much like a sports team, matters. So the 5th grade, she's with 5th graders, 4th graders, 3rd graders. So the 5th graders got all the good parts. And then anybody who's really a good 4th grader, you also got the good parts. And then the 3rd graders tend to fill out the ensemble. So that sort of made it when she came home and realized that she wasn't too excited about that. But I'm psyched that she's sick today, kept her home for that reason, because she is testing in the dress rehearsal tomorrow. So we got to get her healthy for it. And, probably my fault for sending her to a slumber party over the weekend that got her sick. So hopefully she's going to be able to recover and be all right. But she hasn't come down here yet. So she let us do the show for an hour and a half with no problem. So that at least is a good sign that at least she might be getting a little bit better. So play week, we'll get into it. We got to rehearse lines after this tonight, after the show.
Oh yeah.
Here we go. Getting ready for being a theater dad as I am as but hockey is here, so that's good. Like button, hit it. Subscribe button, hit it. Leave a review. A lot of good things. BVBshow.com or comment
on the YouTube. That's been great.
BVBshow.com is the Discord channel. We're building that up. Come on in. We're gonna do more stuff on that. We did a Twitter Spaces on Twitter. Once we build that up, we will take the Twitter Spaces to the Discord channel, and we will do that on the Discord channel exclusively. So just FYI as to how that will happen later on. Farra's back. Good job out of Matt. He's Dave. I'm Matt as well. Tomorrow.